So I know the premise of this video may be silly, how to blink, but this may be one of the more important videos you can watch to help you with your eyes, your dry eyes now and in the future. Let's focus in. Dry eye disease is significantly increasing, and we're finding it more and more in younger generations as well. And part of this can be contributed from computer, iPad, and phone use. In fact, when we're using digital devices, our blink rate decreases by 60%. This can cause the surface of our eyes to dry out, redness, irritation. It can also cause problems with our oil glands in our eyelids, which can lead to more dry eye problems in the future. So to fight this, I'm going to show you how to do blinking exercises, hopefully helping tone your eyelid muscles to improve the quality of your blink and increase the frequency of your blink as well. Then I'll go over if they actually work and why blinking is important. And at the end of the video, I'll show you some programs that you can get on the computer and on your phone to help remind you to blink. And the one on the computer is actually pretty helpful. It's free. I've actually used it for a while now, and I think it's something you should look into, so make sure you stay towards the end of the video for that one. There's actually a few different ways you'll find online how to do these blinking exercises. The principle is the same. You're trying to tone and improve the eyelid muscles so you have full, complete blinks. Now, I'm going to show you two different ways. The first one is really simple and straightforward. This simple way, you're going to actually focus on completely shutting your eyelids, so both of your eyelids are actually touching each other. So when you're going to do them, you're going to close your eyes, count to 2, 1, 2, open, close, 1, 2, open, and then repeat it 5 times. This second way, I find that it's actually a little bit better. It actually feels like you're doing some type of eyelid exercise. Same principle, you're going to close your eyes and count to 2, but this time you're actually going to use your eyelids and actually squeeze and count to 2, 1, 2, and gently open. And then do it again, close, squeeze, 1, 2, and gently open. Now you're going to repeat this 5 times. Now the tricky part here is knowing that you're actually using your eyelid muscles. And so one tip that you'll find online is actually to use your finger and put it right on the side of your orbital bone, and you'll feel which muscles that you are using. You want to make sure you're using your eyelid muscles to close your eyelids. If you feel like you're going to use your cheeks or your forehead to kind of force your eyelids closed, you'll kind of feel the spasm of the muscles on this side. You want to make sure you're feeling the muscles near your eyelids. So it's a little tricky to first figure out. In fact, when I was doing it, I was making sure that I was like, okay, yeah, that's the muscle right there. But sometimes you'll find that your cheek and your forehead will scrunch down. And it'll still do that, but make sure that your eyelid muscles are the ones that are actually flexing and forcing those eyelids closed. You can actually do a combination of these where you close your eyes, 1, 2, open your eyes, and then close your eyes and do the squeeze, 1, 2, and then open your eyes. And so you can kind of mix it up a little bit, repeating it 5 or 6 times. So you'll have a gentle close and then a squeeze eyelid muscle tone close. And like I said, the perfect time to do these is if you incorporate the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, you take at least 20-second break, looking 20 feet away. This is the perfect time to do that. You're blinking and blinking exercises before you go back to using your digital device. Now, the blinking exercises actually help your dry eyes or improve the quality of your tears. Now, I actually did dive into studies on this one, and the majority of the studies did show that it did improve the quality of your blink. Now, let me focus in on that one. So a lot of the studies took a sample of people and they did questionnaires on them to know where they stood with their dry eyes and dry eye symptoms. They measured how long their tears actually stayed on the surface of their eyes. That's the T-BUT, the tear breakup time. They also measured how many incomplete blinks they had in a certain amount of time. So they kind of videoed them blinking and tried to see how many of those blinks didn't actually touch each other, where the eyelids didn't touch each other. Then they had them go through a certain period of time where they did periodic eyelid exercises to see if it improved any of those sections that they were studying. And at the end of the study, it actually showed that it did improve those different sections. The questionnaire that they filled out afterwards of doing blinking exercises scored better on their dry eye symptoms. Also, the quality of their blink, how many times they had full blinks, did improve and did improve significantly. A lot of the studies that I read show that blinking did play a significant role in the increased dry eye disease, and they found it twofold. One, it contributed to meibomian gland dropout, where your oil glands in your eyelids started to atrophy because they weren't properly functioning very well. And number 2, it caused a poor quality tear film over the surface of the eyes. How the eyes are supposed to work is when you blink, your eyelids will touch each other. It'll grab the oil from those oil glands and spread a thin layer of oil right over the tears, the lipid layer. And that lipid layer is there to protect the tears and the eyes, and it keeps the tears from evaporating off the surface of the eyes. So not only was incomplete blinking causing current dryness as people were staring at their screens, but also in the future, because of that meibomian oil gland dropout, was going to cause more dry eye problems, more dry eye disease in the future. So even telling people to blink more might sound silly, and may be one of the key factors to help people with their dry eyes, especially in the future. So if this is something you wanted to incorporate into your daily life to see if it's going to help you, let me show you some programs that you can get on the computer and your phone to kind of help you, remind you to do these blinking exercises. Now, if you want to look for apps on your phone, they have free apps for Android and Apple to help remind you to blink. So if you're using your phone a lot and you know you're not blinking enough, you could look into these apps. Now, they are pretty simplistic. They'll just have kind of a picture of an eye or an eyelid show up and blink, kind of giving you that visual reminder to blink. And that's pretty much all it does. It's kind of annoying, but it's probably designed that way so it gives you that reminder. On Android, there's an app called Blink. It's pretty simple, just the Blink app. And on Apple, it's the Donald Korb Blink Training app. And I'll put the links to all these in the description so you can check it out. Now, if you're working on the computer all day long, definitely the best one by far that you should look into, and it's free, is from blinkingmatters.com. Now, the reason why this one's so helpful, and if you feel comfortable with this, it actually uses your computer camera and records and watches your eyes and your blinking rate. So it measures how many incomplete blinks you have, how often you're blinking in a minute, and it kind of tracks and gives you a graph. You can also set reminders every 20 minutes to remind you to do the blinking exercises. And every once in a while, if it notices that you aren't blinking enough while you're doing your work, an eyelid will pop up saying, hey, remember to blink. And so it's actually really, really helpful. Again, it can be annoying, kind of like the computer apps a little bit, but I found it to be the best one to remind me to do the blinking exercises, to remind me to blink, and actually kind of supports and tracks data a little bit so you can actually see improvement over time. Now, I don't ask this very often, but if you could like and share this video, I do think this video could be helpful for a lot of people now and in the future. Now, one thing I'd like to say, if you don't blink, it can cause your eyes to be dry, but it actually can cause your vision to be blurry. And if you're wondering how that actually happens, I have a full video explaining how dry eyes can cause your vision to be blurry right here. I'm Dr. Neil Gaiman, Dr. EyeGuy. Stay focused.